man. Getting to it, getting after it, back in the gym. So y'all don't know if y'all check my latest little story. You boys in there throwing up 315 easy on the bench. It's been a minute. It's like riding a bike though. You know.
Rob's on a comeback tour. He's coming out of retirement. He's coming back. He's coming out of retirement.
I didn't even get back into the workout groove yet. That's all. That's 315 easy. Just rip it out.
Well, holla at me when you hit three. Holla at me when you hit 316, dog. Holla at me when you hit 316. All right. 316. Holla at me when you hit 316. All right. 315 stuff. 316 and a half. You know. Holla at me. We got a fun show, man. We got a lot of things to talk about. It's been a couple weeks. One thing I actually forgot to put into the show, and what I want to do is I'm going to put Rob on the spot because Rob played college basketball. He's a Hall of Famer at Drexel. And well, let me break down before I ask Rob the question. Let me break down a few things we're going to talk about today. Of course, baseball has started since the last we spoke. And we're going to talk about the Phillies. We're going to talk about the Phillies. They're actually on right now, but don't turn this off. That game's not interesting. Don't even worry about it. We got some Eagles stuff we're going to talk about. Definitely got to talk about some things there, especially with the tush push. And we got a big dummy, and we got a whole new dam. I don't know if Rob's been on for the dam yet. I don't know. It's a new thing.
He was on for the first one.
The first one, okay. For the inauguration.
He was on for the inaugural dam. All right. Sounds good. Well, we got a new one here today, one that we were supposed to have last week, but I forgot to go get it. And Miguel came in the clutch and had a new one already set for us. Miguel, are you stumping me today?
Yes.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Rob, here we go. Did you ever have the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament?
I did not, unfortunately. I fell short in the championship.
So, in the CAA game?
CAA championship game. Played probably my best game of the season. It just wasn't enough.
That hurts. Does that mean you went to the NIT?
We did go to NIT. We actually played Temple at the Leah Center. In the NIT.
I'm sorry. Say it again. I sneezed. I'm sorry. You played who?
Temple at the Leah Center.
Oh wow! I'm sure that was not fun. Like, how is that? Okay, let me ask you this: how is that? Like, you make a national tournament, and then you play a team that's right up the street from you. Like, were you looking forward to like playing somebody like maybe a USC or somebody that you don't really get to see? You saw Temple.
No, to be honest with you, I was just happy to be playing in the postseason. I didn't, that was the first time in 4 years we ever played. Well, first 2 years, I played a little bit, didn't play much, but junior year we didn't get to play at postseason. So I was happy to play postseason. Then you play in Temple, inner city, bragging rights. But unfortunately, the majority of our team was more concerned about, upset about not being able to go on spring break.
Oh, yeah.
Folks didn't
come. Was that the Temple team with was that Pepe Sanchez, Mont Barnes, those guys?
No, they were before. That team I was on was the big guy. They had Keith Butler was the big center. They had Alex Wesby.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who the guard, like the point guard and the
Lynn Greer was the guard at that time, wasn't he? Or did he come after?
Yeah, no, he's before.
Okay,
he was before.
Gotcha.
I can't remember who the guard was. I know Alex Wesby was on that team.
I wanted to ask you that because March Madness, and actually this year, the tournament's been a little. I mean, it's been chalk, really. Like all 4 number 1 seeds are in the Final Four, which is cool to see because you want to see the best 4 teams go at it at that point. But you didn't really have that story that you had in the past. You just didn't. It just didn't happen that way. But we can get into that a little bit more a little bit later. What we want to do right now is talk about a little bit of baseball. The Philly season has kicked off or has swung off. I don't know. I didn't want to use a football analogy with the opening day of baseball, but the Phillies right now 4-1. I believe 3-1.
3-1.
And playing right now. And I'm going to pick my feet up because I have some opinions early on, and that's it's the football aspect, but I'm going to preface it with every year I complain about people having them early feelings when they say, "Oh, we're going to the World Series," because they swept the Braves in the first series. I have some feelings, but Miguel, I'm going to let you talk about it, and I know you're going to attempt to talk me off the bridge, which I'm not on the bridge, but you're going to try to soften the blow. You're going to try to make the Phillies look better than they are. But go ahead.
To the contrary, my friend. To the contrary.
Yes.
What does it always come down with me? It always comes down to the bullpen, which I don't think they've necessarily have solved. And I only say that because Jesus Luzardo came out and pitched a wonderful game. I think it was 6 innings, 11 Ks. Now he has this sweeper pitch, which is a modern day way of saying a sliding curveball or whatever.
He wasn't the one to give up that home run?
No.
I thought okay, so it was somebody okay.
No, because he came out. He only gave up 2 runs that game.
I'm thinking Christopher Sanchez. I was thinking of the other day with Christopher.
Yes, yeah. But he was the one I was worried about mainly because you were worried about him too because he had the shoulder, the pitching shoulder and the back, which is 2 areas that you don't want a pitcher to have, injuries in. But 11 Ks in the first start through 6 innings. And I think during that game they were up 7-2, but the bullpen kind of faltered a little bit. And again, with baseball, it's tricky because you can literally not watch for like a month and then pick up kind of where you left off. And, it really comes down to August and July, August, September. That's really the 3 months that, you can tell what the Phillies are going to be or what they are. I mean, 308. Yeah. I mean, 3-1 on paper is a really good start. Phillies are winning right now against the mediocre Colorado team. I think the Phillies are going to do what they did last year and beat up on the teams that they're supposed to beat up on. I just need to see how they do against the real dogs in baseball. That's going to be the real test. Again, I think we should start looking at trading away Nola because I believe he's the one that got the one loss, right? Nola was the one that had the one loss.
Correct.
Hitting approach. Even with hitting approaches in the beginning of the season, Harper has been historically cold to start off. So I think it's too early to say anything. 3-1, yes, it's a good start. Come back to me at the end of April to see, once they play a couple of dogs to really get. And even then, it's still. I got to see how this bullpen the course of the season.
Rob, you see how cutthroat your boy is over there, man? I think Rob might be frozen. There he is. He's back. Rob, you see how cutthroat your boy is over there?
Cutthroat? What are you talking about?
I'm just talking about how you talking about how Nola lost. It was the only one with a loss, and he got to go already.
Hold on. How many years have I been saying we need to trade Nola?
Yeah, but don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
God forbid.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. I don't know what happened to your mic, Miguel. I can still hear you, but I think it switched over again on you. Just letting you know that real quick. So I'll give my opinion on what I was seeing with the Phillies while you take care of that. I think you might be back though, actually. You're back. What I saw in the 3 wins, and mind you, I did not really see the loss. I was at a rowing competition, so I didn't really see it.
Were you competing? I'm joking with you.
No, absolutely not. It was my daughter. That was down Kelly Drive, but I saw what I saw last year, and I don't like it. I'm not excited about it. Right? I'm watching the game, and I'm seeing them struggle mightily at the plate. First game, I'm gonna set the first game aside, although they struck out 19 times. I'm gonna set that one aside just because people kept talking about there were shadows and stuff like that. Both teams struck out quite a bit in that first game. But the rest of the game, I mean, the games we won, we kind of had to rely on the long ball. We had to rely on that home run ball. I don't like that. Because what have we seen the last few years? Even the year they went to the World Series, you get hot, you get cold. You get hot, you get cold. You rely on that long ball. What they hit like 7 home runs in that one World Series game, and then came back the next game and got no hit.
Mm-hmm.
You rely on that long ball, you're going to die by the long ball. All right. I put a poll in the chat, so check out the chat, y'all. Put a poll in the chat and let me know if you need a passcode for it. I'll put the passcode up too. But the question in the chat is: should the tush push the brotherly shove? Should it be banned? We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, so definitely make sure y'all stick with us to talk about that. Also, I'm getting the phone lines opened up so y'all can give us a call when you get an opportunity. You want to talk about something that we've been talking about here, or of course you can hit us on the the text line, right? The text line at 484-606. It's so hard for me to say this number. 484-606-06 606-6061. There we go. 484-606-6061.
Who chose that number?
The automatic number chooser that gave me. I probably had an option. I was like, "Ooh, that one's cool. Let me pick that one," but didn't think about me having to say it out loud.
You were like
606-6060. I said it wrong. 606-6061 is the number to text. That's the text line. Hit us up.
You saw that number and you were like, "This sounds sexy." No, it sounds like you're saying sex over and over. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it probably goes over well for like a quiet storm. Me on the text line, 484-606-6061. See that? Sexo1 or whatever it is. Yeah. Hit me up.
We talking bats.
Before we get into the conversation about the bats, because Rob, have you heard about these bats that the Yankees and maybe a couple other people have been using? And the Yankees they started off the game the other day. First 3 pitches they saw were home runs, and then the 4th guy hit a home run as well. With these new bats that they have, we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I just want to know if you had actually heard about it, and it looks like maybe you haven't, but it looks like you're intrigued.
No, I have not. I have not heard of. Are these like aluminum bats?
No, these are still wood bats. They're referred to as torpedo bats. Stay with us, Rob. Stay with us. We're going to talk about it. You're going to enjoy this one. Before we do, let's talk about these umpires and their. I feel, you know what, Miguel? I feel like when you put this stuff in there, I feel like you're lobbying for like the automatic umpire.
Here's the thing. I'm not either way. Mm-hmm. I'm lobbying for these umpires to be good. I'm lobbying these umpires to give a damn enough to care about their craft, to give a damn about the game of baseball, and actually care about making the correct call more often than not.
Yeah, I wish they would too. Sometimes they just get it wrong.
Because I mean, I get it. Video replay is useful for certain things, right? In soccer, they've perfected it, as far as goals, as far as offsides, stuff like that. They perfected it in tennis as far as is the ball in or out, because, I mean, yeah, it is hard to see with the naked eye a ball that's being hit at upwards of 9,500 miles an hour from like 40, 50 feet away, yeah, that's kind of hard to see. Okay, yeah. But I'm sorry, ball in the strike. I mean, I get it. The pitchers are throwing hard. The pitchers are throwing harder, velo and all that stuff. But you should still at least be in the vicinity. And some of these umpires are just like, and it's not even consistent. Sometimes it's a strike in the first inning and a ball and by the fifth inning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel like I was watching a game yesterday, and I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was a college game or what. Anyway, it was something somebody told me about. It was a story somebody was telling me about a kid who was getting mad because the umpire supposedly was basically the kid didn't like the umpire's calls, balls and strikes. Didn't like. So I threw a pitch. He calls it a strike. I throw it there again. He calls it a ball. You know, one of those type situations. That can be very frustrating. That can be very frustrating. Here's what I will say. I've umpired scrimmages before, and I've tried calling balls and strikes in practice before, and in scrimmages. It is a very difficult thing to do. It is a very difficult thing to do. I've actually, after doing it, kind of gave umpires a little less crap. Yeah, a little less crap as a coach. Partially because I was your assistant, Miguel, and it was your job to give the umpires crap, and I you know, good guy. But it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing because here you go, you call something a strike, and then you might think about like, yeah, that probably wasn't a strike, and then they hit that same spot. Now you got to call it a ball, or do you just consistently call it a strike just because you called it a strike the one time? Like it's
right.
very difficult thing.
And I get what you're saying, but they actually go to train for 60 days.
Ain't enough.
It ain't right. They shadow each other. They go over mock situations in the rule book, and so they're trained in this. Like somebody that's not trained, like that's like Rob saying, "Hey, all right, call balls and strikes the best way you can." He'll do the best he can, but it's like he's not training for it. But if he's trained for it, you're gonna know that okay, this is top part of the play, black of the play, all that stuff. They're trained. It's like it just seems like once they get to the big leagues, it's kind of whatever, and they know they're protected by their union.
They are protected by the union. That is true. They are definitely protected by the union. So we did get one vote on the poll so far. I'm going to share this. They've changed our buttons a little bit, Miguel.
Uh-oh.
At least on my side, they've changed some things a little bit. Well, right now, we're gonna put this one up. Right now, here is the we got so many things on here today. Here is the poll question: should the tush push, the brotherly shove, be banned? All right, I put the link in the chat for the question for the poll question, or you can go ahead and scan that QR code. And if you need the ID for the passcode, that is the passcode right there for the ID number for the session. Let us know what you think. Should the tush push be banned? We are talking about that later on in the show, so definitely stick around. Get your people with us, checking us out, and join in on the conversation. All right. Let's talk about these.
You keep saying you put it in the question.
Say again.
You keep saying those words, and you put it in the question, man.
Which words?
What you calling it?
What you talking about?
I'm not saying it. I'm not going to say it. I refuse.
I'm not really sure. not really sure. So we're just gonna have to start talking about these torpedo bats because I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about it. I feel like I'm actually excited about this. But go ahead, Miguel. I want you to talk about these torpedo bats real quick. I like them. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so
Go ahead. Go ahead. Burst my bubble, but go ahead.
can you post the picture of the bats up there? Because you have to kind of understand. So all right, so Rob, the bat up top is the quote unquote torpedo bat, right? And the bottom bat is your traditional conventional bat. So the New York Yankees, they have a guy that started, experimenting with how the bat is formed within regulation. So the interesting thing is that this is actually a person who was an electrical engineer at MIT. And he got his doctorate in physics from the University of Michigan. He previously coached in community college, stuff like that. So he started experimenting with these bats. So you ever hear, you want to hit it on the sweet spot or the barrel of the bat. So the idea is the barrel of the bat. So the barrel kind of it's about maybe like yay long. What is that? Like 4 or 5 inches or whatever. What they do is they actually hired somebody to take data points on every contact point for every hitter. And they figure out, okay, well, what part of the bat are they hitting the baseball with more consistently? So what they have done is that they customize the bat based on how often they hit in the barrel area, and they just move the barrel a little bit. So I believe diameter wise, I forget the exact measurements, but it's like the barrel can be no bigger than like 2.5 or 2/8 of an inch. Let's just say as an example. Most bats are just under that. So that way, because it looks like it's kind of like flexed out or whatever, but it's actually within quote unquote regulation. So instead of having one complete barrel like fat like that, they actually kind of scrunch it down and move it. So that way, it when you hit that when the ball makes contact, you're gonna do a lot of damage. So hence the Yankees, I believe, in a 3-game span, hit the most home runs in history. I think it was like something like 19 home runs. So of course everybody's like, "Oh, they're cheating," but they're working within they're working within the rules. Now,
Tom Brady style.
It's all about the Deflate Gate or whatever you want to call it. There is a hitting guru online who was a former major leaguer. He actually said he pointed to a couple of different hitters that actually were just missing that sweet spot, still getting good velo off the bat. So he's saying that it's not actually good for the hitter because over time, it's almost like I can't remember the name of the bat, but there was a like a drop 10 bat that became illegal last year for like a 13 and under. Because literally you can check swing and the ball's a double. You know what I mean? So they banned this bat. But it's something that it's something to keep an eye on. I will say that. Because more players are starting to request these customized bats. But MLB approved it. They approved 41 different manufacturers to make these torpedo style bats. So the torpedo bats do not violate MLB's rules. So under the rule that is in question is says the bat shall be a smooth round stick no more than 2.6 inches in diameter at the thickest part and not more than 42 inches long. I didn't know that bats could be that long, but apparently they can. And it should be one solid piece of wood. So as long as it reaches those diameters, then they're good. But
I don't see a problem with it. Because here's the thing. Go ahead, Rob.
when you look at it, I'm like, well, why wasn't this thought of before? Like the one
Right.
on the top just looks like it looks like it could do a little more damage.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I'm
It got
I'm
that
I'm
little
I'm,
bit of
I'm
more
on that
thickness.
same line. I'm
You
along
just
that
know
same
if
line.
you hit it on that spot, it's bye bye.
I don't see, other, first of all, let me just say this.
Mhm.
Shout out to the Yankees for keeping this under wraps and not using them in spring training because we didn't hear nothing about it until the first game of the season. I'm assuming they didn't use them in spring training. Shout out to them for that. Number two, shout out to them for getting this new technology and really, being able to work with it. As much, I'm not a Yankees fan by no means, but I believe that this bat is exactly what the Major League Baseball wanted and needed. They didn't want to say, yeah, go ahead and take your human growth hormones and get strong and hit home runs all the time. But if this bat is within the rules, let's do it. Let's bring the eyeballs back to the game. And we know that's what it's all about.
And historically they've done everything, and we know this, like, just from the naked eye. Historically they've tampered with baseballs, and you
Mhm.
know um there's always been complaints every year about baseballs, either at the beginning of the season or towards the end of the season. Either the baseballs are too slick, or the stitches aren't tight enough, and the ball's flying out of the yard, or they can't hit. Because of course the argument is, okay, well, now everybody's gonna start crushing the baseball. But the day after this story broke, I believe the Yankees got shut out 4-0 and struck out 13 times. So at the end of the day, you still gotta hit the baseball. You still have to make contact.
And and I'm thinking that you said it was off of the sweet spot and they still kind of went somewhere, right? There's
Mhm.
plenty of hits that we've seen with a regular bat that have been off of the sweet spot and have gone out. So it's going to depend on a lot of your strength, your hand
Mhm.
strength, forearm strength, your swing strength, and your mechanics. And it's going to depend on a lot of different things. But we do know if you hit it directly on that sweet spot at the right angle, ball game,
Mm.
ball
If
Yeah.
game.
Barry Bonds had one of those bad boys.
Man, if Barry Bonds had one of the bad boys, I'm saying 250 more home runs.
But he didn't need that though. Like he had the technique,
He didn't.
and whether you want to argue steroids or not,
I'll
touche.
I'll argue against the steroids. He was doing it before the steroids.
True. When he was actually like a contact line drive hitter, he's a Hall of Famer, irregardless of what he did. May have done. He's still a Hall of Famer, in my eyes.
He should be right there with you, Rob. Hall of Fame, baby. Should be right there with you.
Yep. Is
I,
A
I don't
Rod
know.
Hall of
I don't know
Fame?
if he'll get it. Huh?
Is A Rod Hall of Fame?
Nope.
A Rod doesn't deserve it though.
You know, I feel, I don't want to get in this conversation because it could be a really good conversation for another time.
Anybody that does a Sports Illustrated article and shows himself kissing himself in a mirror.
I didn't see that, but I feel like A Rod's career was Seattle, Texas, and the one year that they won the World Series with the Yankees, because everything else is forgettable to
Pretty
me.
much.
A lot of Texas is also forgettable to me, just because you just didn't see them that much. But it is what it is. Call me crazy. I'm interested in this torpedo bat. I really am. I hope the MLB really adopts it. I mean, not everybody needs it, but like I would love to see the Phillies use it.
Alec Boehm has a torpedo bat. And so it's not a matter of Major League Baseball wanting to use it. It's just a matter of the player that it's open to everybody,
Right.
Because it pretty much gives you, like, it's like some say it's like a bowling pin. But
see
you're literally like reconfiguring your bat for you. You know,
And let's be honest. They've tried to do things with the bats, not so much the wood bats as much as the metal bats. We see different technologies in the metal bats every year, every single year. I didn't even know they came out with new technologies in the bats until I started coaching high school ball, to be honest with you. I mean, I knew people that had bats and they were, they would talk about the bats and how good they were and all like that, but I didn't know that there was like real technology in these bats. Okay. But with that being said, when I'm looking at the bat, I'm also looking at if you don't hit, I feel like you can kind of control, and I'm just thinking about the actual impact and the point of contact. And maybe it's just because I'm just used to looking at a regular bat as well. But I feel like you can control the ball as you hit it with a regular bat, probably a little bit better with a regular bat than the torpedo bat. I feel like the torpedo bat is really for hitting the ball out of the park. I don't feel like it's for placement hitting. I could be wrong, never used it. I've never even been in front of one. But if you're trying to do placement hitting, I don't know if the torpedo bat is the one to use. I don't know.
So just to kind of get like the take from Major League Baseball players, the closer for the Brewers, Trevor McGill, he says he thinks it's terrible. We'll see what the data says. I've never seen anything like it before. I feel like it's something used in slow pitch softball.
Can I just say something, Miguel?
Go ahead.
When you're going to give us something like that, never start with a pitcher. Of course, he thinks it's terrible. He's a closer. He probably got rocked.
Maybe. I mean, they did give up 20 runs to the Yankees that day.
Exactly.
But he also said this. He said, but it's also genius. Put the mass all in one spot. It might be Bush League. It might not be, but it's the Yankees, so they'll let it slide.
And he wouldn't be saying that if it was the Brewers that were doing it.
Right.
His opinion would be different.
Yeah.
We're playing within the rules. We just changed the technology of the bat. It is what it is. Speaking of playing within the rules, the tush push, the brotherly shove. So a few weeks back, I know we were talking on the show. Oh, thanks, Miguel. I forgot all about that. 2 weeks back, we were talking on the show. And they were talking about, it was about 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They were talk about the Packers wanting to get rid of the tush push, the brotherly shove, excuse me. And then there was then the Bills joined in which the Bills run the brotherly shove. Well, they run the tush push. The Eagles run the brotherly shove. They run the play the second most behind the Eagles. And then you got a few more teams joined in. Eventually, they got to the point where they had 14, I want to say 14 or 16 teams saying yes, they want it banned.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get the vote. They needed 24. They didn't get the votes they needed, and they're going to table it. So you put it to a vote. You didn't get the votes that needed to change it. So you table it. So that just tells me the brotherly shove is going to be a thing of the past. I feel that way. What do you guys feel? Do you feel like since this has happened and the way it has happened that this thing is now a thing of, I'm talking about the vote that is now a thing of the past? Or do you think they will get the votes that they need?
Unfortunately, probably. The issue that I have is the 49ers pretty much invented the West Coast or were the first team to be this successful with the West Coast offense. Short dink and dunks, slants, and stuff like that. Couldn't stop it. Nobody bitched about it like the Green Bay organization. And all these teams that are complaining about it, they keep talking about all the potential for injury. Not one single injury has happened on the tush push. Not one. And then there's some that argue that it's not a competitive play. It's so easy. You pretty much know what's going to happen. Okay, learn how to stop it. It's like it would be like not it would be like now changing the rules for Stephon Curry, and now he can only shoot threes from the opposing 3-point line because it's too easy. You know what I mean? It's like it's girly high school stuff.
Now let me play around with this for a little bit, guys. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to give you a situation. Okay. First, I'm going to say this. Do you think they would care if it was the Carolina Panthers doing it? Being that the Carolina Panthers are like the worst team in the league this past year, do you think it would still be an issue? And I really don't think it's an Eagles thing per se. I mean, it feels that way because we're here, we're fans of the team. But I do think it is a competitive thing where they know they can't stop it. They don't have the personnel to stop it. Every time we play this team, we're not going to be able to stop it. Do you think if the Carolina Panthers were doing it and still losing games, that people would care, or these teams would care? That's the question for you guys. You guys feel free to answer it or not.
Go ahead, Rob. I'll let you go first.
Well, nobody really cares if anybody's doing anything. If they're not doing well with it. Let's be honest. Nobody cared. What angers people the most is that the Patriots won. They only care because the Patriots were winning. You only cared. I mean, they would care a little bit because you want the game to be clean, but you only cared about what was it? The steroids in baseball because McGuire and them was knocking the skin off of it.
Crushing.
Crushing it. You only pinpointed them because they were crushing it. You're not going to tell me those are the only guys that were using. You're not going to tell me Lance Armstrong was the only cyclist doping, but they only care because he won 7 of them bad boys. So
it was 7 in a row too, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy. But the thing is, the other folks were doing it too. So it's like I'm torn between that because I'm a very straightforward, like by the book person. Like I don't believe in cheating. I wouldn't cheat personally. I wouldn't cross the line. I want to win so bad. I'm gonna cross the line.
Now I get that.
I feel like you're getting upset because it's like people who are doping, and then they're upset because now I'm doping too, but I'm better than you at it.
Now I'm winning. I'm winning.
You're a better cheater than me. Now I'm mad. Like,
and the next meetings, from what I was told, the next meetings are going to be in May, but they're not going to have the. I want to say it's just going to be the owners. It's not going to be the coaches, the owners, and the GMs. I think it's just going to be the owner. I think it's an owners meeting. If anybody out there knows different, please let me know. Correct me on that. You can call us up, or you can hit the text line, or of course you can hit the chat. Also, check the chat right now, folks. I got a poll question in there for you. Please go ahead and give us your thoughts on this. Should the brotherly shove be banned? Should the brotherly shove be? I'm not saying will it get banned. I'm not saying what your thoughts are on whether or not it will be. I want to know whether you think it should be. Do you think it's a dangerous play? Do you think it's a boring play and shouldn't be allowed to do it? I'll tell you what I think is a boring play. Victory formation. That's a boring play. I'll tell you what else I think is a boring play. Field goals. And let me put this, and let me just put this one out there. I heard this example. I can't take credit for this one. I heard this one. to a deeper extent, right? If you want to get rid of this play to make things equal, right? Then all teams should play in domes. All teams should play on the same type of turf. All teams should, everything should be equal, right? One of the great things about baseball, professional baseball, I guess college baseball too, all fields are kind of shaped in a different way, right? So it doesn't really affect the pitcher, the catcher, doesn't really affect the pitcher and the infielders, but it does affect the outfielders. They have to learn how to play off the wall. How deep is the wall? Think about Boston. They have the Green Monster, right? They have it's a short porch, but a tall wall. Nobody's saying they shouldn't be able to have that. That's unique to them. The Yankees have a short porch in right field. That's unique to them. Colorado has thin air. People hit home runs all the time. That's unique to them. The Diamondbacks have a big stadium. It's not really there's not a whole lot of home runs hit there. That's unique to them. So why can't football teams have plays that's unique to them if they build for that? Next thing you're gonna say, well, the Eagles' offensive line is too good. They shouldn't be. It's unfair. Like when you talk about stuff being unfair that you could also do, it's a slippery slope. Because how do you get rid of the brotherly shove? Do you say, or do you have to get rid of victory formation because now you got two guys lined up behind the quarterback, right behind him? Do you now say that if somebody's running the ball and they're out in the open and then like 2-3 tacklers try to get them, but they can't get them down and somebody cannot come behind and push now because that's a push. So they got to be careful how they do it. Miguel, I didn't get your opinion on this. I want to give you a chance to talk about this. How are you feeling about it?
I see what people say on the defensive side of the ball because you're actually not allowed. They remember they banned like the pushing of linemen into the offense, mainly on field goal kicks and stuff like that. Right. But on defense, you're not allowed to do what you can do on offense. But it's like, again, tying it back to what I'm gonna say, gambling. Offense is always going to have the advantage. You know what I mean? It's like you're not going to ban this play if you want to include it in the arsenal of things to bet on during an NFL football game.
I feel like just to counter that, I feel like if I'm a casino or if I'm a sports book, I feel like I might be able to make more money off of bettors with the play not being banned, because now you're putting Jalen Hurts' yardage number, first down number, the Eagles' first down number, whatever, at a certain spot. You ban this play, now you're making it lower. It's not as interesting a bet for people. I think you may lose out. I mean, I know what you're talking about. More so the betting on the teams and all like that. But I'm thinking of the side bets. I think.
But the other thing too is they say, oh, well, it's an easy play to run. How come the Eagles are the best at it and not everyone else is? Because remember, wasn't it the play that that cost Buffalo that got them eliminated? He tried to run some Monty Tush push or whatever the case may be, and they stopped him.
I didn't watch that game. Embarrassingly enough, I didn't watch that game, but I do know that they run the play the second most behind the Eagles, and they were they weren't the first ones, but they were like the second one to say we don't want it, we want it banned, and that would make sense because y'all thought y'all had something. I guess if they had made the play, they're not thinking let's ban this play, let's keep it around because we can do it too. We can be unstoppable as well. Now let me ask you this question. I got to do this. I got to do this. Well, first let me ask you this. Rob, should they ban the play? Yes or no?
No.
Miguel, should they ban the play? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. I feel the same way. Now, let's think in our imaginations real quick. To a time when things were a lot simpler, but they were a lot harder as an Eagles fan. Talking about the mid-90s. And there was a team in the NFC East that was pretty dominant in the mid-90s. All of them were dominant in the early 90s except for one. Mid-90s it became one. Of course, I'm talking about that Fugazi team down in one of them cities in Texas that plays in the NFC East. But let me ask you this, guys. If that team was doing this play, of course, for them, it would definitely be called the tush push. Would you want it banned then?
No.
I knew Rob was going to say no. He's not going to go against that. How about you, Miguel?
No, I would be more concerned about finding the hookers and the cocaine that Michael Irvin's smoking.
Why you want to find that?
Because
Just suspend him. Kick him out of the league.
I probably would want it banned. I would probably say, y'all, the only reason y'all win because y'all doing that stupid play. Because, back then I ain't really know as much as I do now. And I wouldn't have really much to say. So I think I would want it banned if it were that team doing it.
But could you imagine that team doing it with every single offensive lineman on that team on All Pro? Which is pretty much what the Eagles have.
I was about to say that's what the Eagles are right now.
Which is
the
why
Eagles, I hate names.
Come on, Nate Newton and the crew.
Nate Newton.
Eagles are a mirror image of that team right now. They're a mirror image of that team.
Stepnoski, yeah, like Larry Allen, like that's what we have now, and I think that's what it is because a lot of teams can't figure out any other way to beat us, and they swear that's the only way we can win games. But when you come into a Super Bowl with only one objective, which is just to stop the running game and best of luck in the passing game, you're going to get your ass whooped, which is what the Eagles did. They whooped that ass.
There you go.
I feel like if you come across something, you keep fighting to stop it. Like people get upset. I remember the year that the Panthers went. Cam Newton had his MVP season. Took him to the Super Bowl all year. They was complaining because he was scoring touchdowns and he was hitting them, and dancing and stuff. And they're upset. I'm like, yo, you upset? Keep him out the end zone. If you don't want to see him do it, don't let him score.
Hello.
Why are you complaining about his dance? Stop letting him score.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
they
simple.
Complained about Chad Johnson and the pen. They complained about Joe Horn and the phone. They complained about
was that time. It was the no fun league, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They will suck the fun right out of the play. I want to move on to. Is it time to move on to the big dummy? We want to move on to the dam. Oh no, we got a couple other things that I actually forgot to go to. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to those real quick, Miguel. The other videos that you had up there.
Well, the one. So this one we don't have to do because that was the first thing, and that was the video.
I was about to click on it too.
Well, that was a video to prove the point of the missed calls, but we're kind of off of that now. So
okay, well we can bring it up next week because there's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more. But
we have so then so I removed the other two. So then there's that college one. So I can set it up though.
Okay, set it up.
All right. So the question is going to be: is this Bush League? Okay. So baseball game. This happened at a SEC baseball game. SEC has a unique rule about getaway day games. So getaway day games are like games that pretty much start like around 1:00. So the rule says that no inning can begin after 4:30 p.m. local time Sunday on the final game of a series. Good so far?
Yep.
So the rule is supposed to ensure that teams can travel without major delays and allows athletes with Monday classes ample time to return to campus. Okay. So the time right now that you're going to be watching is the last minute of this game is 4:27, I believe.
And
So
it can't start. It can't start after what time?
can't start a new inning after 4:30.
Okay. All right. So we're ready for the video now.
Go for it.
All right.
Oh, look at this.
Yep.
Look at this.
So this was my point.
This is just players meeting on the mound.
If you set the tone here and knew that this was going to be possible, then you could give Kentucky a warning that you can't do this.
In quite some
Look,
time.
20 seconds. So this clock is ticking. I guarantee you, you're going to see Novi take all 20 seconds. 45 seconds.
It's like basketball now.
I
The
know.
clock is ticking. Oh, this meeting on the mound. Now, Mike Early has something to say about this. Well, that'll do it. This is A&M's last chance now. And Mike Early may be directing this at Nick Mingione. You have to know if you're Mingione, this won't sit well with the other side.
This is why the warning should have been said 2 innings ago.
Yeah, now Nick Mingione's firing back. And making the catch up against the wall in center field, Griffin Cameron, and that will end the ball game. The Wildcats win it 10-5 today. It's brief, but it's, I guess you'd call it cordial.
I'm gonna let Rob go ahead and tackle that one first. I already know where he's going. Go ahead, Rob.
Man, it's like what I have been the victim of this playing high school basketball in Philadelphia. And I've been on the court where a team had an 11-point lead going in the fourth quarter. I think it was Lamberton. And they literally held the ball the whole quarter. So it's like high school basketball in the state of PA. They need to have shot clocks. And this is part of teams take these strategies. And they see that as a strategy to win. I don't agree with it. I will never agree with that. Like that's ridiculous. I don't even know what. Yeah, no. I don't know what to say about that. That's cowardice. I couldn't even fathom up the strategy to do that if I was a coach for my team or be the player that had to execute that. He would have to take me out.
It's interesting that you said high school because I actually forgot about this until you just said that. When I was in high school, we were in the playoffs. I don't remember if it was the district round or if it was the state rounds, but we were playing Pennsbury. It was overtime. We had the ball first. We got the ball first. Went down. We didn't score. Pennsbury then held the ball the rest of the quarter and went to take a shot, and they missed. And then we ended up going to another overtime. And they did the same thing in the next overtime. We ended up stealing the ball. Anyway, it ended up going like 3 or 4 overtimes. But it's interesting that you say that because it happens in other sports. Miguel, what were your thoughts on this? Or do you want me to go?
We experienced that, you and I as coaches, because when we do travel baseball, all of the playing games are on a time limit.
Right.
You know, most of them are 150 drop dead or like 145 no new innings, stuff like that. So we experienced that, which I kind of hate, but I get it. You know, you have like 30 teams, you're trying to get, you know, all these games in and stuff like that. But at the college level, I mean, I understand the rule, but then it's like, if you know the game is going to be 4:30 at that set time, then maybe schedule a little bit earlier. But
shoot, it started at 11, right?
I remember, right. So you remember, this is my last game that I had coached with you at Penwood. It was against Chester, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Christian was pitching, right? And that's when they started to really hone down on the pitch count rule. He was mowing them down left and right. He had like 13, 14 Ks. And then I think the last inning he got to 90 pitches. All of a sudden, Chester stopped swinging the bats.
Yep, they took 2 strikes.
They took 2 strikes.
2 strikes. Yep.
Right. Everybody had to take 2 strikes. So he got to pitch number 99. And of course, their coach said, 99, 99. Okay. So we had to take him out. We had no choice. And he was pissed. And then we put in another pitcher who came in and struck the other guy out on 3 pitches. And that was that. So he wound up winning, I think, like 7-0. But
what they didn't know was we had our best pitcher on the team in
the bullpen. Right. So there's like, I'll just throw these 3 pitches and call it a season. Yeah, it's a little bush league though. I would say it's a little bush league because 3 minutes to go, just pitch. You know what I mean? Just come on.
So I would agree with both of y'all that is bush league. It's bush league, and the funny thing about saying something is bush league, it just means that you're playing within the rules.
It's not illegal. It's just
you're playing within the rules, but when you think about it, that's the third thing we talked about today. That's playing within the rules, but you got the torpedo bats, you got the brotherly shove, and now you got this, right? This is the most egregious out of the 3 to me. Because it's baseball, there's no time. There's no natural time clock in the game. But when I think about football, when I think about how the Washington Commanders beat the Eagles 2 years ago, or whatever it was for the Eagles' first loss of the season, what did they do? They controlled the ball, kept the ball out of the Eagles' hands. That was kind of the recipe for a while of beating the Patriots. Keep the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. Same thing for the Chiefs. Only difference is in those games, there's a time clock, and you can kind of gauge it. But here's what really bothered me about it, right? At Texas A&M, was it Texas A&M?
Yeah.
He wasn't going to do nothing. He doing all that barking. He wasn't about to do nothing. He was not about it. Coming out the dugout, come on, man. That's what kills me about baseball players and stuff like that. Come on, man. Come on.
He's got to prove that
he's going to go do something. Come on, man.
Was
that supposed to make the other coach stop doing what he was doing?
He's got to prove that he has his players back.
I get that. But if you're going to come out of the dugout to make you to say, you see, the other coach didn't come out the dugout. Of course, he ain't really had no business to. You're going to come out the dugout to make some type of point and act like you want to fight somebody. Make your way across that field to the other dugout. I'm not promoting violence and all that, but what I am promoting is if you about that life, be about that life.
I'm promoting.
Don't do it for the cameras. That's all I'm saying. I think he was FOS, full of stuff. That's what I think. I think he was full of stuff. All right. So are we gonna go to the
dummy and the damn?
All right. So here is this the dummy? Yeah, here's the dummy. So this dummy is very similar. I'm sorry, I think it's a high school because I'm sorry calling him a dummy, but this is very similar to your big dummy from last week, Miguel. Very similar.
Okay.
And maybe I should actually share it. Maybe I should actually share it so y'all can see it. But here we go. I'll set it up for you. This is a runner. He's running in a big time meet. He's running the 200-meter dash. Can you guys see it?
No.
My bad. Here you go. He's a runner. He's running the 200-meter dash. And here you go.
Australian Olympic
What
athletes
the hell is this?
paid a salary, so how do they make their money?
What just happened?
First, let's look at performance incentives.
Here we go. I don't know what happened. Here we go. As you see, he gets out and he's moving. He's already broke the stack.
His way around the bend. Pearson putting up a good challenge on the outside, but there's no doubt about it. What a display of
He's moving.
from the young Briton.
Like Usain
This
Bolt
is
out here.
absolutely
He starts to-
phenomenal.
Did he get hurt?
And he's just easing
Goes
up.
down.
What's happened here? What has gone on there? That
He
was
ends
an
up coming in
absolute
fourth place,
disaster,
I believe.
Phil Minchell. He has eased up far too early.
Let's watch it again.
And half the field swept past him before the finish line. This is going to be a lesson learned the very, very hard way.
I just want y'all to see this
I
again.
know
Here you
Dave
go.
Jordan already.
He's moving.
blasting
He's
his
booking.
way
Ain't no
around
doubt
the
in
bend.
anybody's mind he's going to win this race.
Pearson putting up a good challenge on the outside, but there's no doubt about
Possibly in
it.
record time.
What a display of sprinting from the young Briton. This is
And he slows
absolutely
up.
phenomenal. And he's
I say he
he's
watches
just
too much
easing up. What's happened here?
1, 2, 3.
What
He
has
came in
gone on
fifth
there?
place. Maybe fourth.
That
but
was an
probably-
absolute disaster, Phil Minchell.
I'm trying to figure out which line he thought was the finish line.
It's not even that. With yours, that was a mistake.
Right.
It was the wrong line. This guy just thought he had it in the bag and he could coast to the end. And unless there was some, gambling going on or something, I don't know. But
He went from first to seventh?
hold on, you know what? No, you got it. No, I'm sorry. Here we go. I got to give him a better one than that. Come on, man. Come on, man. I would have killed for that kind of speed when I was running track. I can say that now that I'm way out of the range of running track. So here's the other one, guys. Here is the damn of the night. I actually got to share this one too. So here we go. Here's the damn of the night. And we've all been somewhere playing football in the street or something like that, right? I know I have. I grew up playing football in the street and having a good time. And then you find, some grass fields that you can play in and play football in and all like that. And, I'll just here you go. Back shoulder throw. Ooh. Good Lord. We're going to watch it again for those that may not have caught it. Here we go. Ooh.
I like how he called back shoulder.
He definitely did. One more time. Oh.
Oh, God.
I think it's funny that the light went out and then came back on.
Even the light was like, damn.
Yeah. The light was like, what the hell did I just get hit with? Good
One of
Lord.
my childhood friends did the same thing when we were kids playing football. He was tracking on and boom, ran straight into the light pole.
I probably would have I've run into a parked car and knocked all the wind up out of me. And them things don't move, okay? Them things don't move. I actually remember whose car it was. And if anybody that grew up with me knows, it was Mr. Lott's car. I ran into Mr. Lott's car. So yeah, and his car did not move. So for those that might be new to the show, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube. But for those that are new to the show, Miguel usually gives me, and this is ridiculous, but Miguel gives me, he stumps me. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This is ridiculous. He gives me the player's jersey numbers that he wore throughout his career, some of his accolades, and I got to figure out who in the HE double hockey sticks Miguel has thought about this time. So, wait, what is Rolaids Relief?
That's a relief pitcher of the year, but it was always brought to you by Rolaids Relief because baseball was full of constipation.
Well, good Lord, how many teams did he play for? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, all
5,
right, this is little misleading. So he's one of those players that has to have multiple numbers on each team. So 51 and 52 are for the Orioles.
Okay.
49 and 33 are for for Cleveland. 47 was San Francisco. 49 was Seattle. The first 49 over there. Seattle, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Colorado, and then 40, 50, and 94 were all for the Detroit Tigers.
Joe Table.
Who?
Jose Mesa. Oh!
God, killing it. You killing it.
Stop playing with me.
Mesa.
Stop playing with me, man. I didn't even know he played for that many doggone teams. I had to give a guess.
Wow.
I had to give a guess. My guess was strategic, and I'm not going to give you my strategy because then you're going to start stumping me.
What was your strategy?
Not telling you. Let's just put it this way. My strategy probably won't work next week. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
It probably won't work next week. I didn't realize he played for Colorado. I didn't. So my first memory of him is when he played for Cleveland, when he was playing on that team that went to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Roberto Alomar, Jim Tomei,
Manny Ramirez,
Manny
Kenny
Ramirez,
Albert Bell.
Yeah, that whole squad. That was a squad too. That was a squad. That was a fun squad to watch.
Albert Bell.
Remember, Albert Bell went after that money. And then when he came back, they started throwing green paper in the stands. I remember that, boy. They treated him bad, man. They did him dirty. Joe Table, go ahead, boy. Jose Mesa. Did he play for the damn?
Hello.
He played for the Phillies for 2 years. Was it 2 years?
He played for 4 years, and at one point had the most saves in Phillies history.
Until D. Gordon. Or until Brad Lidge?
Neither. Until a wonderful human being named John Papelbon.
Oh yeah, him. I forgot about him. Okay.
Yeah. So he has the current record. I think he has 112, and Mesa has like 104 or something like that.
Man, I feel good. I got it on the free. You said go ahead and throw out the one that you're thinking. I said, no, I'm thinking Joe Table. Because I was thinking either Jose Mesa or D. Gordon, but I was like I'm not D. Gordon.
Tom Gordon. Flash Gordon.
And I'm like, I know he played for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers was not up there. So
he played for the Phillies.
Yeah, he played for the Phillies.
He was actually on the 08 roster. He started off the season on the Phillies roster. And because the last 2 seasons he had arm trouble, so I think 06 was his last like actual season. 07 he was starting to have issues. 08 he was making a comeback, but it just didn't pan out. So,
well, I did not realize he was on the roster in 08.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was long gone. Wow! Shout out to Tom. What was his name?
Tom Gordon.
Tom Gordon. Okay, I thought I was going to say wrong.
Shout out to whatever your name is.
All right, we about to get up out of here, man. Y'all got any last words before we get up out of here?
No, man. Just remember to say a prayer for your boy Embiid. They're gonna be scoping his knee again.
About time.
So say a prayer for your boy.
About time.
Yeah, so that way Justin can start next season and look us both in our faces and say Sixers are gonna win the NBA championship.
And I will, because I meant to say Eagles this year. Next year, I'm going to mean to say I'm going to mean to say Sixers. All right, I'm just putting it like that. Yeah, shout out to him finally getting that knee together, man. He was waiting for it. Springtime. You could have got it done a while ago and been cool by the summer and been able to enjoy your summer. Now you can't. But whatever. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if it was him or the team, but it was somebody needs to be held accountable there.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it was a little bit of both, personally. I think it was a little bit of both. Any last words from you, Miguel?
My last words will
Since
come.
Rob wasted his on Joel Embiid.
I'll yield my time to the wrestling great that has appeared on the video up there. Why the hell not?
You want me to play it?
Sure.
Oh Lord, are we gonna get dinged? All right, here we go. Are we gonna get? All right, no, this was on TV, so it can't be but so bad, right?
Right.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Intelligent Jew like yourself, they know about the Iron Sheik. They know who's the Iron Sheik. They have the from John F. Kennedy Airport to the Los Angeles, California. They know who's the Iron Sheik. Now, Corporal Kirshner. Forever. Last time you was lucky that blonde was your partner.
Danny Spivey.
Exactly. This time just you and I.
Precisely.
Exactly. You better get ready because Sheik born ready. Cameraman, zoom.
Zoom it. Thank you. Miami's night center.
It's the first time I've ever seen that. Ever seen it. I don't know how he kept it together for Macho Man's promos, so because I can't keep it together now when I see them. I'll be cracking.
When the cream rises to the top.
Cup of coffee in the
Cup
big
of coffee.
Oh, man. Cup of coffee in the big time. Cup of coffee in the big time. All right, we gonna get about it. Y'all enjoy y'all Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Rob, I don't know if you paid attention. Who you got Final Four wise? You got any opinions on what's happening in this Final Four?
I don't know, but I'm going to pick for you real quick, just off the top.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Duke, and I'm gonna go Duke and Florida.
Auburn, Florida game is tough, ain't it?
I'll go Duke and Florida in championship. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Dukies win the title.
Okay. Okay.
That hurts, don't it?
It does, but I'm like, I kind of like, I'm like, as a realist, I'm like, yeah, he's probably right. Like, I like this Florida, that Auburn Florida game. I'm looking forward to watching that game. I hope it lives up to what it should live up to. Nobody's giving Houston a shot, really, it seems like. And Houston has one of the best defenses in college basketball this year. I didn't know that, actually. But I also said, I think, I feel like Duke, I think this is Duke's year. I think it's their time. I mean, they're loaded. And I hate, oh God, I despise them. I can't. I'm a Carolina fan, so sorry. I've seen Carolina win a few championships since the last time Duke did. So I guess I gotta let it go. Right. Anyway, go Florida, go Auburn, and go Houston. I'll just say that. But with that being said, we're going to get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the CheckSwing Podcast with myself, the brains and brawn of the situation, Coach Santa, and, of course, the Hall of Famer, Rob Battle. We'll talk to y'all next week, probably more likely on Tuesday next week than on Wednesday. But we appreciate y'all hanging with us. Make sure you share us with your friends, your family, and your enemies, and the people that you like the very least, okay? Share us with them, too. All right? We'll talk to y'all next time, man. Peace.